What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast, and of course, you are back with my Coffee Time Kick segment. And I had to bring in the sneaker teacher, one of probably the freshest teachers on earth. Because you know what? I wish if I was a teacher, I could dress like him. And probably one of the most known and most seen sneaker photographers on Instagram. I know he does some great work with brands, so had to bring in Mr. Andy Dutton, aka AD Sneaks. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Mike, thanks for having me on. Good to hop on and chop it up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have you on. I mean, I've been following you for a while. I love your work, man. You do some great stuff. I'm always just a fan of photography as a whole, sneaker or not, and your work is creative. Your work is not biting off anybody else's. So I before we get started, I kind of want to give you your flowers on that, man, because
Thank you.
you do great stuff, man. I appreciate the hard work you put in that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just fun, and I've been really enjoying it. So,
Yeah, man. No, I love just seeing the passion in it because it's not just like, hey, I'm doing this. Can you send me something free? It's like, hey, I'm doing this, and hey, the outcome is the outcome, but you can tell you have enjoyment in what you do. So that's super cool, man. And guys, Coffee Time Kicks. We're just here to just talk about sneakers, talk about life, all that good stuff in between. So as we know in sneaker history, we like to get started with rocking and copping. So, guess Andy, what you got? What you rocking? What you think about copping?
so rocking today, I just put them away, or I'd have them like right here to show. But I had so I wore the reimagined white cement Jordan 3s today. Just man, such a beautiful pair. I know people are getting sick of the aged midsole look, but I feel like on those it was just like executed so well that it wasn't like overdone and it wasn't underdone. So it's just like in that nice middle ground where they look really good.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't like someone threw them in mud and picked them up. It was like, here, brown midsole. I like that. No, they
Yeah,
did that one really well. I don't hate the aged finish because I don't like all the time like a stark white shoe.
right.
So the cream is nice, and I think for the way I dress, the colors I wear, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I think it works, and like you said, it doesn't look like some of those ones we've seen where it's like you rub a little bit of dirt on it and it's like, oh, I gotta get this really, really aged. So
Exactly.
they did good. I just wish the elephant print was a little bit better, but hey, at least I got the shoe. I'm happy about that.
Take the wins with the losses. All right, cool, cool. So
Thanks.
what you think about copping? Is there anything on your list of things you want to add to the collection?
Oh man, think I'm always so I have this guilty pleasure of nightly before going to bed, I'm scrolling through my phone. Probably not the best habit in the world, but I'm always looking on eBay for like just steals, man,
Yeah.
just like random little things. And so I found like what led me to this one, and I copped them, so we'll just say that. Uh, Jordan 17s, the Lightnings and the UNCs have come out, and
Yeah.
they've been met with mixed reviews for the price and like
Mhm.
accessibility and stuff. So I was like, man, do I really want those? Do I really want those? I don't know. So I was looking back through, and I always looking for like obscure Jordans. I don't know what it is about like obscure pairs, but I always just want like ones that people just like either forgot about or like didn't really like pay much attention to. So I found
Yeah.
a DS pair of the let's see, it's not the 18s. So the
Oh
ones that have like
yeah.
the little magnetic thing that like goes down like
Yeah.
that. That's a shoe I wanted when I was in high school and was never able to grab it. So I think they re-released those in 2018, the white with and blue and then the black and blue pair. And
Yeah.
so
Yep. Yep.
I found a deal on eBay, put in a low offer, guy accepted. So that's what we're copping next is a 2018 pair of Jordan 18s.
That was one of the ones I wish I would have bought because I missed out on the OG colors when they came out.
Yeah.
Those pretty much sold when they released. But I remember they had it was a all blue like a royal blue suede. There was a yellow and an orange one. It was like
Yeah,
back to
yeah, yeah,
back.
yeah.
They sat around. They went on sale, but they're still kind of expensive. They sat
Yep.
around for months. I was like, why didn't I just grab a pair of those and just hold on to it? Because I like the 18. Like I love the 17. 16 is probably my favorite of the post, or the 16 is my favorite of post 14s. But there's just something about those, man. They're different. They're cool looking. So hey man, I love the purchase. Good on you. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, like the design language of some of those ones that like were like on the tail end. I know Mike played in like the 17s and stuff when he was with the Wizards, and then even the 18s for a little bit too. But it's just something about that design language after he was, wrapped up his career nicely with the Chicago Bulls, and then it
Yeah.
just felt like things like shifted. But I love where they shifted with the 16, 17, 18. Like those were like that was a good set.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree. And if they would, I would love for them to go ahead and retro to 16. But now I'm scared that they're going to be like $1 million because of what we
Right?
got with the 17 low, which is so weird to me. Like, I can't remember. Someone was explaining it, and I cannot remember. It might have been Chris from Wear Testers, one of his videos, I think. And I guess I guess they have to rebuild like the tooling and everything for it, so that's why it's expensive. So, I mean, okay, I get the first run, maybe even the second run, but now we should start pumping these out in regular cardboard boxes. Let us get pairs
Yeah.
like normal people and call it a day.
Like that briefcase isn't $100 extra. I'm telling you, like it's not that nice.
I got no room for that anyway. Like, in fact, I will let you keep the
Right?
briefcase. Just send it to me in a box.
Just send
I'm
me the
fine with
shoes. I
it.
just want a cardboard box.
Yeah, $200. I got you. Keep the metal case. I don't need it. But no, those are
Facts.
solid rocking, solid copping. Me, I didn't really go anywhere today but the gym, so I was rocking my Puma DV8 Nitro 3, solid running shoes. I mean, the first one I ran my first ever half marathon in, and so I kind of been stuck in
Oh,
the
dope.
shoe. Oh, dude, they make such a good running shoe. Because people think of Puma as like casual, of course, all of the driving shoes,
Right.
but their performance running, I guess this would be considered one of their close to super shoes. You should definitely try them out if you're into running. They're solid and they're better priced than what you're getting a lot of other places.
Yeah, I've always been like a Hoka guy, and so like the only gripe I have with Hokas is they wear out so fast. Like the like rubber on the bottom, it's like
Yeah,
cooked after a while. So no, Puma, that's it. I'll be looking.
yeah, definitely try them out, man. They're really good. They're not. I probably Hoka definitely has the corner of the market on comfort. Like you can't beat that. But for pure performance, the DV8 Nitro series is absolutely amazing.
Noted. I will be looking. That might be my next eBay search tonight. So
They stroll away. Oh man, but Coppin. So talking about old school basketball, a shoe I've actually never owned in all my sneaker hoarding years. I've
yeah.
never owned the Foam Posit one, and I want the Royal Foam is sitting around in some places. I'm trying to justify $240. I'm trying to also
Yeah.
wait to see if I can find one that's a little cheaper, but I'm looking at, let's see, Hibbett Sports right now has my size sitting around. Packer has my size. I'm like, oh, there's two right
Yeah.
there. It's just that price is very gut
I
wrenching in the end.
know that
Ooh,
that 240 like so kind of for me too. Like I've never owned a pair of foams and I've always kind of wanted a pair. And so when that Royal pair coming out, I'm the same way, man. So I've been looking, it's like today's sneaker market, it's like, oh, should I wait for it to go on sale? But if I wait for it to go on sale, is my size going to still be there? Like it's, man, all these
it's
what ifs now.
it's a tough game because so eggplants. I was like, oh, no one's gonna buy those. There's no way. My brother bought a pair off sneakers when they came. I was like, oh, I'll wait. I went to freaking sneakers at like $300, or not sneakers, a goat, and like $300. I'm like, okay, I failed.
Right.
Not buying those. The Orwood pair, like that light cream brown
Hmm.
color came up. It's like 160 on goat. I'm like, what? It's just because it's brown, I guess. But I mean, it's okay. It's not a bad colorway, but I kind of don't want to settle and get that one, knowing that I want one of the OGs, or I wanted the was it cherry blossom color? That was
Yeah, those ones were beautiful.
oh my god, it's so nice, but sold out immediately. I think you can only get them at what Foot Lockers mostly in store look like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's what.
$600 right now. I think. No,
Yeah, not worth it. Nope.
thank you. Not even close. But man, how you feel about kind of these releases right now? I feel like we're kind of hit a bit of a lull to say I don't nothing
A
really. I feel
little
like
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, like I know. I think this week. I mean, we got the J Tips
Mm,
Saucony collab coming out, which beautiful. I have both the pairs already, and they are. I mean, I've been a fan of what he's been doing since he came into the sneaker space. I feel like his initial collaboration with the Azure Grid 2000, like that kind of created waves for some of these other brands to be like, okay, like everyone paid attention to that, and then J Tips does his second one, and then J Tips does his third one, and then it's like, okay, now we're seeing more with Saucony, we're seeing more with Asics. I mean, New Balance has kind of been there, in my opinion, but we're seeing, Asics and Saucony come up with some of these stellar collabs, and in my opinion, they've had some of the better pairs this year so far.
Oh, 1,000,000%. So I got right now. First of all, shout out to the homies over at Saucony because my tracking number says they'll be here Thursday. I'm like, I cannot wait to
Woo!
put those on. I am so excited. Like, I've been a huge Saucony fan. I remember when they got like they had that era like in let's say 2011 through like 2013 when they were all those old school runners, like those early
Yeah.
'90s, late '80s runners got really popular, and that's when Saucony, Shadow series, Asics Gel Light 3s, 5s got super popular
Hmm.
for a span of time. But I love this resurgence. I love what they're doing because they never have stopped producing a great product, no matter if they're up there in the limelight all the time or they took a little bit of a back seat. They've been pumping out amazing shoes that aren't just collaborations. What J Tips is doing is proving that you don't have to be this crazy huge corporation or crazy huge megastar to produce something that people want. And I love that because me and Nick were talking the last episode me and him did, and I mean, I guess it'd be a hot take for people out there who are like really true to some of these bigger brands, but I feel like J Tips and Saucony have become a dynamic duo, like you would say Travis and Jordan, or Ronnie Feig and Asics. Those two are synonymous now. When they do something, people are paying attention. His things have a story to it. His things have his feeling into each of these shoes. They're not just, let's slap the same color over and over. They're bright, they're energetic, but they also have a version that's a little bit toned down. He gives you
Yeah.
options, and I love that.
Yeah, no, and I'm a fan like of him. I've talked to people who like interacted with him, who've met him. Just he's like down to earth, just good dude, and and that comes across in like the way that he carries himself and markets his sneakers, and just the sneakers themselves. Like I think I read something today. It's like he said like I wouldn't put out a sneaker if I wasn't going to wear that sneaker, and so like
Yeah.
he's not in it for the clout or the recognition. He wants to tell his story. He wants to design how he wants to design. And I think because he's so genuine, it just resonates with people, and we're able to like buy into what he's doing. And I mean, I'm here for it. I've loved all of his pairs that he's done so far, and these ones, these Omni Nines, like he keeps elevating. I think this is like, in my opinion, I think these are the best ones that he's done so far. They're just so good. Like all the little tiny details on them. I need to make a video of it. But yeah, like it's just they're so good, man. They're so good.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're both good. Sometimes you have a collaboration pack. It's like, oh, one's good, other one
Hmm.
not so good. And even the kids Shadow 6000, or I should say GS size, because I know some of those are maybe women's sizes, but they're all good in their own right. I mean, I saw somebody who
Yeah,
got their pair from the New York release, the tan pair. They cut the overlays off of that clear overlay.
I thought about that. I want to see that because like
I
it's
gotta find
there,
a
you
picture
can
again.
see it. Yeah,
Someone did it, and he even reposted it. I love that he's in touch with his customer base, his community, because when people will post them, I like posted my on feed of the shoes. He'll repost you, and it's really
yeah,
cool. I mean, that, in a grand scheme of things, it's nothing, but in the sense of he's paying attention. Like it's like you bought a shoe, or you showing him love on the site or whatever you're posting on. He's showing you love back. He's reciprocating that to say, "Hey, I see you. I appreciate you." And I loved it
yeah.
because if I did that in a pair of Travis's, that's
You're
not
not
going to.
expecting anything. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's no
you're
way.
not gonna.
There's no way.
Exactly. And I know there's a big difference in probably fan base and size, which is
For
understandable.
sure.
But in the sense of like he's still taking his time, being in one of the biggest markets in New York, and just he's not become like super cocky. He's trying to be the best. Clearly, you can tell, but he's not forgot about, hey, it takes these people actually
Yeah,
liking what I do to put me in this position. So I respect that.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, he stays true to his roots, and he's killing it. So hats off to you, J Tips. Like keep doing your thing.
Okay, second that. Now I gotta ask you, Andy. Like I have friends who are teachers,
Right?
and I have family members who are teachers. And my question, when I started following, was like, how in the world does he get to do this? How do you get to go to school so fresh? Like everybody I know has to wear khakis, and maybe they get away with the New Balance here or there. They gotta pay for their jeans on Fridays. It's some. Well, how
I've
does
heard
Andy get to go to work so fly?
I've heard all those teachers be like, man, I have to pay for like Jean Fridays, like casual Fridays, and all that stuff. And I think it's one. I think it's because I'm in public school, so there's probably not as much of a strict dress code. Our students don't really have a like. I mean, you'll see some of these like charter schools or private schools where the kids have to wear like a certain color like dress collared shirt
Yeah.
or like dress or anything like that. And so our school, public school, so there's that. And then my admin, super supportive of what I do in the classroom. And so
Nice.
uh, just as long as I'm helping my kids and helping them reach their goals and all of that stuff, then like if I'm doing my thing, they let me do my thing. So really grateful
Fair
for my
enough.
supportive admin. And you know, I've found over the years too, and I've said this before a few times that um, when I first started getting into teaching, it was, you know, I would wear the shirt and the tie and do all of
Mhm.
that stuff, and you know that was my vibe. But the classes that I was teaching at the time, I was teaching like wood shop classes, and so
Oh,
we were
jeez.
constantly going from like classroom to wood shop, and here I am wearing a shirt and a tie doing that. I'm like, this isn't working. Like I don't want to get like my necktie like you know
Yeah,
stuck
it's
in
like,
a
oh,
machine or
table saw.
anything like
Like,
that. Yeah, exactly. So it's like I probably shouldn't. So then I ditched the tie. I was still wearing collared shirts and like slacks, and I'm like, man, but this ain't me. Like I don't dress like this. Like I understand like workplace, professional, and like you know your own life. You kind of got to separate the two. But I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just start wearing sneakers at school. So I'd wear the get up with my sneakers, and then just gradually started transitioning to like what I like to wear and how I wear it. And I feel like doing that has really resonated with the kids because they can see like, oh, Mr. Dutton, that's who he is. Like that's
Mhm.
always who he is. And so he's not this like teacher version of himself or this you know other version of himself outside the classroom.
Yeah.
So being able to be myself, like kids, I think connect with that and are able to buy into what I'm trying to teach and do in the classroom a little bit better that way. So sorry, that's kind of a long-winded answer.
No, but it makes perfect sense. Like I agree with that 100% because I mean, me personally, I'm not a shirt and tie person. I think I did it for so long when I first got out of college, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like it's just uncomfortable for me. I feel like I'm just stiff,
Yeah.
and then I work in a whole different like field now, and it's really cool because first it was like, hey, you need slacks and a polo or whatever, and then we all um, went to work at home, and then like probably a couple times a year we go to office. But now it's like I have my tenure there, and when we go to office, I wear sneakers and pants and shirt like we're talking now, and
Right.
but I think it's because it's like, hey, as long as the productivity is there, you're not giving us any problems. We're not going to bother you. And they, again, supportive of what I do here. So they're always asking about the podcast and things I've done. So, I think it's the kind of that same idea of the higher ups. Like, all right, cool. This person's doing a good job. We're not going to nitpick something that can be clearly a bigger problem.
Right, right. Yeah. And so like I mean it's there and I've gotten plenty of people it's like, "Oh, you're a teacher, you should dress professional." Like you're giving teachers a bad rap for the way you dress. I'm like, "Okay, whatever. Like come in my classroom and you'll see what I'm able to do with my kids." So,
Yeah, man. So, what do you teach now? Is it a technology class?
yeah, so I teach kind of a variety of things. So I still teach a shop class. It's for ninth graders. We cover like manufacturing principles and stuff like that. So we have a shop, but it's more like, you know, not like build furniture kind of thing. It's you know, teach kids about like, you know, what lamination is or like composite material versus like
Okay.
wood material versus metal. So we do projects with all these different kinds of materials and try to do like hands-on projects to get them ready for their state test. So they have like an experience that ties into like a principle that they're, you know, supposed to remember for the test. So that one's pretty fun. And then I teach a class called College and Career Awareness for eighth graders. It just exposes them to different like job opportunities in the technological world. I mean,
Oh
it's
wow,
we
that's awesome.
cover a bunch of different things, so that one's pretty cool. But my favorite one is my digital media class. So that's where we
Hmm.
teach kids how to use Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Lightroom, Adobe Premiere, and just teach them how to create things digitally. Which you know I love to do that. So just being able to teach these kids these tools that like I mean I remember in middle school we had nothing like that. I mean these are
Same.
seventh, eighth graders learning how to be proficient at these you know high level creative software tools, and it's really cool to see what these kids can create once they get their you know their footing in the door a little bit with that software. So it's pretty fun.
That's awesome because yeah, it's one of those things that you look back is like, oh, I learned how to use Microsoft Word. Great. I could have learned. A trained monkey could have taught me that, and like at home, like I didn't need a class for that. I learned like Excel course, and no one ever fully learns how to use Excel because they change it every 2 weeks. I feel like, but
I don't think anyone ever knows how to use that pro. It's so vast and deep,
no.
man. Like
Have you seen there's a world championship of Excel, by the way?
yeah, it's crazy stuff. I saw like some video on YouTube the other day and I was like, how do you even figure this stuff out? Like, people
No,
building crazy stuff in Excel.
VLOOKUPs, pivot table here. I'm like, I don't know what you just said to me. Just
Yeah, over my head.
over my head. But the thing is, what you're teaching is so practical, especially in this day and age, because you're really like that class you're teaching, and also what you do with your contest of the design really enables people, students, kids, to find a niche, find their kind of footing early, which is cool because with us, like we do we do our stuff at home. We do our creation, at home. We do it after work. Now these kids are 7th to 8th grade, 9th grade, able to go home after school, start on that path if that's what they want to do. And whether it be, hey, I want to just go straight into this world of content creation, or you know what, I just love digital creation. I want to get a job in graphic design. Let me start now. So you kind of, that's really cool that happens, because like I said, when we're in school, it's like, all right, cool, you guys write this book, here's a standardized test, get to college and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, I'm super fortunate to teach in the district that I do, because in our district they have a contract with Adobe, so these kids get access to all of Adobe's Creative Suite all the way from K through 12. So while they're in high school or in the system, public school system, they can just go at it. And I tell them that, I'm like, guys, if you like this is something you enjoy, like go home. If your parents have a Mac or a PC, like get this on your PC and you can just have fun, just have at it and get good at it. Because the more you do this, like who knows where your creativity is going to take you. You'll be able to do some really cool stuff.
Man, look, I'm going to shave and I'm going to be a student for a couple of years so I get some free Adobe.
Come on through, bro.
No, that's super cool. And so what gave you the idea of the sneaker design contest?
So for that one, I started that, what year was that? I want to say like 3 years ago. Okay. I started it in my digital media class just as a way of kind of like testing things out. Yeah. At the time, it was just like you design your sneaker design, and if it's cool, that's great. Here's your design. Like you just make it, and it is what it is. Yeah. But then between that first year that I did it and where it's at now, I was able to meet my friend John, JSM 801, sneaker customizer here in Utah, does phenomenal work. And so like I got to know him, and we're really good friends. And so I was like, hey man, like I have this thing that I do with my students where they design a sneaker. What would you think if we worked together? Like I would buy the base shoe, you would provide your services for the winning design for the student to bring that to life. And he's like, oh yeah, like he was totally on board with it. And so awesome. It's been super fun working with him to do that. And we want to try and figure out a way to expand it so that it's not just like, because like I love that one kid gets their design like picked and made, but I want to figure out a way to have like to provide that experience for all of my kids, if not most of my kids, even if it was like a workshop of sorts, right? Like maybe where he would come in and like teach my kids about like customizing sneakers. Like this is how you prep like, your sneakers, this is how you can paint it, and this is how you can like stitch stuff on, like that kind of stuff, just to give them the tools. So kind of like, more like they get the experience of having their own custom sneaker, but then they also get like, the tools and the understanding of how to carry that on even further after the classroom experience, so we're trying to figure something out. So we'll see what comes of that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So after, as you said, you've been doing it for about 3 years now, and then we got a couple of winners who have their shoes made at this point. Do these kids like come back wearing these shoes to school just like the proudest like kid ever?
Yeah. So it was funny. The first kid that we did it with, Charlie, he designed like kind of an off-white looking Jordan 3 with the check, the Nike check on the side, and base shoe that we chose for that was the Muslin 3s, and he was like over the moon. He didn't want to wear them, and then like he came back and he was wearing them. Like, Charlie, like you're wearing your shoes, I love it. And so it's been cool to like keep that connection a little bit with him. But the funny part of that first one that we did, after we made a big old deal out of it, put it all over social media. Yeah. We started seeing like a bunch of these like rep factories in China. Like you'd see his shoe pop up, and like, because like anybody who's on like social media and sneakers, you always get the random DM from like, oh, I'm a Chinese supplier and blah blah blah. It's like, go away,
cheap shoes designer.
Yeah, exactly. So I had one. I had one, and it was like in the picture of it, like within like their little picture, like I saw that shoe. I'm like, there, what? There's no way. So I click on it, and they have his freaking shoe right there. I was like, you're ripping off my student. Come on now. Like, you can't be
Oh,
doing that.
that's hilarious. You should come like, hey, you know what? We I built that shoe, so calm down.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. So I've heard that some of the rep factories they'll see like the mock-ups, and you know how people will like watermark the mock-ups with their whatever their website or social media platforms watermark. They will build it with that watermark on it. It's like
With the
you missed.
watermark. Yeah, like you see like Z sneakerhead Z's like little watermark, and then you'll see on some of
Yes.
these reps like Z's little motif there. It's like, oh, that's hilarious.
It's like, guys, do a little bit
Relentless,
better
man.
work. Do better if
I
you're gonna do
know.
this.
Oh
That's
man.
such a cool concept, though. Like I say, it gets kids excited, and as you start to grow it more, I'm sure it's just going to build up even more excitement. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised you start teaching a customizing class one day. And at this point,
No, that would be dope to teach. I mean, I in education, it's just all about like I want to give kids an experience, but I want to give them something that they can take with them and build on down the road after they've left my classroom.
yeah,
So whether that be like, maybe I didn't win the Mr. Dutton sneaker design contest, but maybe they'll use that as motivation to like design their own thing or like learn more about sneaker customization or just sneakers in general and or even not even sneakers if it takes them down a path. Like I
yeah,
just want to be able to provide them with experiences that will like motivate them to want to do more creatively.
yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
that's
Yeah,
the goal. Whether it happens, like I don't know, we'll see. But it's fun to work with these kids and see even where they're at this age, and even have like some former kids come back that have been like, oh, like I'm doing this now, like
Mhm.
in video, or I'm doing this now in photography, and I'm doing this now in graphics. It's like it's cool to see like where it started when they were these little tiny seventh graders to where they're at as these adults, like
Like yeah,
doing cool creative stuff. So it's really rewarding.
yeah. And like, everyone has that one teacher you remember, and like definitely, again, whether it's just the experience or being able to have a conversation with you about sneakers, I'm sure you have like you said, a ton of kids that'll come back and just remember Mr. Dutton was like he met me at my level basically. It's like he was normal. He-
Yeah.
no, that's so cool, man. So as we talk about school, you have all that going on. I mean, I know the feeling coming home, got a family, but you still get
Yep.
this other thing done. There's this passion project. How how have you been like you've been so I'm trying to find I guess the best word would be successful at what you do, which is amazing. I've seen like all the work you do. Heck, the first time I saw the sneak peek of the De'Aaron Fox sneaker was your photo, right?
Yeah.
Your photo was a
Yeah.
teaser, right? Like
Yeah. That was so cool.
yeah, like that is amazing. Like, how did you, I guess, find yourself in the situation? Was it, hey, I'm reaching out to people actively to try to get work done with them, or is it more of like people coming to you to say, hey, we've seen what you've done, can you help us?
Right. Yeah. No, it's been a little bit of both.
Okay.
So like when I started doing all the content stuff and photos, I mean, it was all just for fun, just for me, like documenting like the sneakers that I have in my collection, just sharing what I like about them and sharing that with other people. And that's still like why I do what I do. Like I
Yeah.
just enjoy telling the story of a sneaker instead of verbally like through a video or something. I just like telling the story through pictures visually. And so it's been really fun to try to like hone my skills into, get everything looking how I want and to present it how I want. And, in the beginning, I didn't really want to like have an aspiration or desire to work with any brands or anything like that. But as things started getting more successful, I was like, some brands started reaching out, and I was like, man, maybe like if I keep doing this, like I could work with some brands, which would be pretty cool. And so it was, I want to say it was last year sometime. Mikkel Jackson from Under Armour, he reached out to
Mhm.
me and was like, hey man, we love what you're doing. We see your work on Instagram, and we'd love to do some stuff with you. And so I've been working with them, every now and then doing some projects like that. And then they hit me up with Curry Brand to do De'Aaron's shoe, and I was like, yeah, like that would be so sick to see that. So like that was really cool to be able to like see the shoe, but it was hard because like I take the pictures of like I want to share these with people. I want to show you guys the shoe, but it's like no, 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 you can't do that. Uh,
Don't you
but
do it.
yeah, so but it was cool to see the rollout and see some of like the detailed shots be leaked out and like the
Yeah.
box, and then it's a really cool shoe, really dope. I love that they it looks very much like a Curry shoe, but it also has like De'Aaron's personality infused in it so well,
Yeah.
with some of the details, that strap, like
Is that a
it's a
foxtail
dope
strap?
shoe. Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
it's
so.
super
Okay, I
dope.
was like, it looks like a foxtail, but I didn't want to just make that assumption.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then the logo, man, the logo, they knocked that one out the park with the like his jersey number with the box and I was like, oh man, like you checked all the boxes on that logo. Well done.
Best
So
logo in recent history because everything else was just interlocking initials, and I was like,
yeah.
this one is fantastic. Probably the best logo I've seen since Derrick Rose's like D and the
Oh,
rose
his
around it.
oh so good. Yep.
Yep,
I totally agree.
they did a fantastic job there. And then you also did the photos for the podium pack for the Curry 12? Is it 12 now?
Yeah, I hit the Olympic, the 12th, yeah, the podium
Yeah,
pack for those. So yeah, they sent those ones too and was able to do those
nice man.
and like they're a good shoe, man. Like and they look so good. They're so light and I mean those ones were a fun one to shoot cuz like Olympic colors, like I was able to
Oh
play
yeah,
around with like some really like vibrant reds to, make the shoe pop a little bit. So those ones were really fun to work on.
yeah, man. I love it because some people you talk to in similar situations are just like, oh yeah, I did this, I work with the brand. Like you still have like a genuine excitement about the shoe
Yeah.
that I love talking because I feel the same way about things. Like, oh great, yeah, like the J Tip stuff for example. Like Saucony was nice enough to send me a pair. I am gonna lose my mind like a child on Christmas when I open this shoe up because it's still
Right.
fun for me. Like no matter if it is
Yeah.
something that is like borderline like it's creeping into business as opposed like not just a passion project anymore. I will always love just examining, breaking down, putting on a new shoe, and then, like I see that has not changed in you either, and that is amazing.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like it's just like I don't know. I still get giddy because it's just like there like people have trusted me enough to be able to like take photos of their product and share that with other people. And that's so cool to me, that someone would trust me that much. And so like I've done some work with Under Armour, and then I do photography work for a boutique Nova,
Okay.
and so they carry a lot of Asics and Sauconys and New Balances, and so like taking a lot of photos of their stuff, and that really like helped open my eyes a little bit more to like what Asics and Saucony were doing, and like Rami, the guy that I work with over at Nova, like I'm like, bro, these are such fire shoes. Like, thank you for sending these to take pictures. Like, I love these. When are these coming out again? Like,
It's like, hey, I need to buy these. I need a couple pairs. Like, see, that's cool.
yeah,
It's like I love like being in this kind of sneaker space. Gives me an excuse to try a bunch of different stuff out. Like Mizuno, I knew Mizuno from
yeah,
like baseball, softball, sporting equipment, and I met like one of the PR guys on a lifestyle, and he was over in he's in Europe, and so I was like, wait, what? They do lifestyle shoes? He sent me like a bunch of like stuff on like photos and stuff, like led me to like their Instagram page and stuff. I'm like, holy crap, how have I never seen this before? And I just got a pair of the oh geez, it's the Shishiko, one of the Shishiko pack, the Wave Rider 10.
ooh,
I
okay,
I bought that pair, was literally tracking down a UPS guy. I'm like, hurry up, I need to see this pair in hand. If you haven't seen that shoe, beautiful. I think I want to dye it in indigo like they did like some of the ones in the Japan release.
ooh, okay,
It is just a beautiful shoe. Like you say, you just get excited because I hadn't seen it before. I'm like, this is new. This is
right.
great.
Yeah, no, I've seen some I can't remember where I've seen some stuff from Mizuno before, and then I bought a pair. I can't remember what it was called. It was a Wave Rider model. I don't know if it was the tens or something like that, but it was like a lavender like suede. Anyway,
Was
I
it
can't remember.
almost like a New Balance, like 990 looking one?
Kinda, yeah, it had that kind of look to it, but
It
I'd have
might
to.
be.
I don't know where I have it back here, but I'd have to pull it
I
out and
think
look
it's a
at it.
Wave
But
Rider Beta. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of in my
something,
head. Yeah,
yeah,
cool looking shoe. It was like, man, why are we not talking about these more?
right, right, and that's the interesting thing that we see. Like, I don't know, like social media is can kind of be good and bad for like the sneaker game because like in the social media world, like we like people want to produce content that gets like views and likes and shares and like all those metrics so that they can grow and like do all those things. And what gets all the views, the likes, and all that, and the metrics, it's all the like super hype stuff. And
Hmm.
so, which is cool. Like, but I think we kind of, at least where we're at now, I feel like we've reached like almost like the pinnacle of like that hype culture a little bit,
Yeah.
to where it's like, okay, we've seen all the Travis Scotts, we've seen all these like collaborations with Jordan and Nike and all this stuff. It's like we want to see something else. And
Yep.
so I feel like we're at that place now, like we were talking earlier with Jay Tips and like Joe Freshgood and New Balance, and
Mhm.
what Ronnie's been doing with Asics, and even just Asics in general. They've been branching out and doing some dope collabs as well. It's refreshing to see other creatives take on footwear and being able to tell their story through a model that not a lot of people recognize, and it's really cool to see that stuff.
Oh, I 100% agree because I mean, we got to a point at every time you look up, it's like, oh, there's a Jordan 1 or there's a Jordan 4. Now, do I love both those shoes? 100% I do. Am I happy to
Yeah.
see something else? Yes, I am so happy to see something else because it just got boring. Like, walk around, like, see people. Like, I went to, it was this past December. I've never been to SneakerCon before, and it came to
Yeah.
Houston. So my wife had surprised me with tickets and like, hey, we're gonna go. I know you've been wanting to go, just never got a chance to. So we went, and I just saw the same shoe. I think that was, I can't remember what sneaker came out. I don't know if it was. I think it might have been maybe SB4s or something, but it was something
Oh
and
yeah.
just
Uh-huh.
everyone had on. I was like, can can we do something different? Like everyone had on a dude that stuck out to me that I want to go talk to. He was when I was telling. I can't remember who I was telling this to. I think it was I was talking to somebody about this, but he had on the T Mac 2 All Stars
Yes.
mismatch. I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to this guy. Like,
Yes, bro. Yes. It's like, oh, these ones take it way back. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I remember this. It's like this is like, but it's. I just remember like it's cool. I know everyone like they like to match and like or not be like in the in crowd or whatever you want to call it and be like, oh, I have the same shoe as this person. But I remember like even to this day, I'm like, I'm gonna buy something that I do not see in the street. Where if someone doesn't say
Facts.
anything to me, they at least kind of take a second look and like, okay,
What are
like
those? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love that because it's a conversation starter. Like I'm not the most outspoken person to go just walk up to you in the street and talk to you, but I can talk about shoes all day.
Facts. Yeah, no, it's funny because you like I went to my first sneaker con in when was it? July, out in LA. And
Oh,
so
dope.
that was my first experience with that too. And like it was cool because yeah, you see like some of the hype stuff, but I also saw like a bunch of people wearing some New Balances. I saw some people wearing some Asics. Uh, saw one person wearing like AE1s, and I was like, huh, this is
That's dope.
interesting. And then even like some of the tables, like you'd see some people like I saw uh it was the Kayano 12.1s that had just recently come out at Kith. Like someone was had a pair for sale. I was like, whoa, like that's not what I was expecting. And then like I saw some Joe Freshgood New Balances getting for sale, and I saw some Asics and stuff, and I was like, huh. Like even the variety has made it into like the resale game just a little bit too, which was kind of cool to see that, and like you said, just see the break from like, oh, Travis Scott, Travis Scott, Travis Scott, Travis Scott, like all these people wearing the same shoe. And maybe it's because we're all getting older and like those Jordan ones just aren't as comfortable as they
My
used to
feet hurt,
be.
man.
So yeah,
But it's like you know what? It's one of those things. Is like I like that these brands are just they're getting more head to head now. It's just not like I mean Nike's still the big dog in the room. We can never deny that.
for sure.
But people are nibbling at those heels. They're like, hey, we're gonna take a little bit of this
Yeah.
market share. So they're having there's these fights. There's this cool stuff coming out because as we get I mean I know all these things are produced at least 6 months in advance. They all have to slate it out. But it's funny how we get the Michael Chang court victory, but then we got the
Hmm.
A6, not A6, the AirTech Challenge 2 right on his heel. And so they're going back and forth. And now there's a New York version of the victory pump coming out. So it's like, cool, y'all fight that out. Let's bring out all these cool tennis
Yeah.
clocks. I'm a big tennis guy. So I'm just, much as I can, that makes sense. I'm trying to covet all those bad boys in my collection. But again, the runners, whether it be Asics, whether it be the Vomero 5, the Omni 9, I think that one may be that one in a Pro Grade Triumph 4 may be my two
Oh,
favorites of the grouping, but
they're so good.
so good. But they
Yeah.
all have their place, and it's like I was looking at my collection. I was like, I love my basketball shoes. I will always be a performance
Uh-huh.
basketball collector, but I'm like these runners are literally taking over because it's easy for me to throw on when I'm dealing with the kids or me and my wife trying to get the kids out the house. I don't have to think about it. It's like boom, boom, let's move.
Throw them on, comfortable, good to go, and yeah, man. And then I've seen too, like with a lot of these, like manufacturing and quality is just on point too.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I mean, you'll get your glue marks and stuff like that, but you don't see as many like quality control flaws as you might see like on a pair of Jordan 1s. Like, oh, my Wings logo was stamped off with the ink and like all this stuff. And it's just like, you know, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot that can contribute to that, but yeah, it's refreshing to see these runners, these, you know, these, what do they call them now? Like, early 2000 like runner style shoes coming back and doing their thing. And like, I haven't always been that way. I'm like you. I've always loved like performance basketball shoes. And cause that's where I grew up loving sneakers, was with basketball.
Same.
And I still like, I love my J's, love my Nikes. And, you know, I have a couple pair of T-Max that I really love, and like some old Answer,
Yeah, man.
fours that I really love, like all of that stuff. But like, it's, for me, like I've always been like super eclectic in my interests. And
Same.
so it's fun to be able to do that with my sneaker interests as well. So it's not just purely basketball shoes. Like, I'm getting into these Sauconys and these Asics and these New Balances, and they're like starting to take over some stuff. And it's just like, you know, this is cool because like I can grab my Dunks, I can grab my basketball shoes, I can grab my runners, like I can grab any of these things that I've wanted, and it's fun.
Oh yeah, and I started doing something. You do it actually with your photos. You do like you put it in weekly rotation. I always love
Yeah.
how you did that. I was like, you know what, my photo skills aren't quite there. I should probably still practice more. But I was like, you know what, I like to just kind of cleanse the palette, which is the feed. So I started doing 5 shoes in my rotation last week. So I'll go like
Yeah.
keep account of what I've done, you know, what I've wore over the past week, and then Monday or Tuesday, like I put one out today, and just go through, and it's like, some people are like, holy crap, that's a great rotation. It's like very different, very good mixture. I had one person like, oh, that's whack, and it wasn't a bunch of J's. I'm like, hey, however you feel, sir, that's okay. But I just like it because I try to put out things that people aren't seeing often.
Yeah.
I mean, for lack of a better, that's who I am. As like say eclectic. I like to have different things. You're not just gonna see a bunch of the same thing. I don't know if you want to call it ADD, but I'm like, ooh, that one's cool. That one's cool too. I want to try this one. Like, I got a pair of T-Max 1s floating right over there. It's the when they came back out, I wish I would have got the whole collection. And I think they're pretty dirt cheap right now. I might finish it, but the St. Vincent St. Mary LeBron PEs.
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes, I got the ones, the T-Mac ones. I wish I would have bought the
Uh-huh.
twos, and then there's the what was the Pro model. They had to
Okay.
come out.
Yeah.
So, but it's such a nice shoe. No one talks about it. It's like that is something LeBron wore. They have
Yeah.
numbers
When he was
stitched in
playing.
it,
Yeah.
everything.
It's
It was
like,
like,
yeah, and it's like I love that, you know, Adidas is dug back for those things, because when was it, a couple weeks ago, I got the T Mac 2s, the white with the blue stripes, you know, coming across the
yeah,
toe. And like I got those, I was like, oh, this hits. But the only thing that I was like mildly disappointed about is because I remember, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but when they first released, I feel like the blue on it was more like glossy, like it had more of a shine to it. And then the ones that they retro to re-release is more of like a matte finish blue, like the plastic pieces that like come across the toe, not the
yeah.
full like rubber cap, but just the
Just the
lines that
stripes.
come across.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to remember. Yeah, I remember them more shiny. I didn't have those, but I remember tons of people did when I was a kid that had that shoe.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think you might be right. I haven't seen the retro, but that doesn't surprise me. I mean, there's so many changes that happen in this
right, right, right.
process. I really wish they would have done the resto mod treatment, which they were doing, which is
Mm-hmm.
their Protro,
Mm-hmm.
because that T Mac one, I'm like, how did he play basketball in this shoe? It's so
Oh
flat.
my gosh. Yeah, so bad, so bad. And then like, but then I look at it and I hold it. I'm like, I know the shoe is awful, but it's also beautiful.
It's also beautiful. It gets me every time. Like I'll buy the most uncomfortable shoe because it just looks beautiful. Like the what was it? The Air Trainer 3. I can't wear Air Trainer 3s. That cage on the right where the pinky toe is. It
Uh-huh.
kills me. But back in 2020, I bought the Vilatech pair. I'm like, this is a beautiful shoe. Like what
They
am I
look
supposed
good. I gotta have them.
to? I can't wear it, but god dang it, I like looking at it. I wore it like twice. I'm like, I can't do anything with this shoe. I'm actually going to trade it with my buddy for a pair of Dunks that he has. I'm trying to build up my SB collection again. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better about owning shoes with a purpose now. And I'm like, if I
Instead of
can't
just like,
do
oh, that looks
anything
nice.
with it, yeah, like I can't do anything with it. Let me like give it to somebody who will, and gladly trade. I rather trade than sell because
Yep.
I feel almost like I've sold shoes before. It's not a thing. Like if I'm done with them, but I sell them at low prices. But it just, I don't know. Kind of just like this is silly. I've worn them. They don't have a real value anymore unless it's something like crazy expensive. But I don't typically keep things like that. Or I wear them, and people are like, "Why are you wearing that?"
Yeah, no, no, I totally get that. And I'm like, I think there's like, so this school year I'm doing like, I'm undsing a pair every Friday. Um, and so, but this week I was like, you know what, I'll unds three pairs because I just want to.
Oh,
Uh, so like my goal is to like by the end like have very few pairs that are just like, never worn. It's just like, man, some of these shoes like you always see the videos or the pictures of like crumbled stuff. It's like they got a short time span. It's like if it's there and it looks beautiful, it ain't gonna look beautiful for long. Like might as well get some wears out of it.
that's my biggest fear. Like I have a pair of. I mean, I wore them, but they're like it was the 2011 Black Cements. I wore them because in
Yes.
college I worked at Champs. I got them for a discount. I'm like, cool. Got them right before I graduated. I actually wore them like through graduation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Um, but about a year ago, they just separated. They're floppy around.
No.
I'm like, you know what? I just can't. I'm gonna wear them. Like, I felt good though. I didn't feel terrible because I wore them so much for the past at that point 12 years. I'm like, I got the value for them. I just sit them there. They're like a planter now. I just put like a plant in
Yeah.
my shelf. But it's really like you're right. You cannot just let them sit. So I make a point. I am a small child. Like when I was a kid, and when my parents would buy me new shoes at the store, I would put them on in the store and walk out. Like
Yeah. Oh
I'm just
yeah.
saying, I still do that today if I go buy something from the store if I want to wear it. And something it's weird to me to have something DS because I'm like I spent money on this. In most cases, I spent money on it, and am I wasting it at this point? Just letting it rot in this box? Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that, and it's like for me, like it's been fun to do this like unds things because like I'll go through like I have some stuff on shelves, and then I have a bunch of stuff like in boxes as well. And
yeah,
most of the stuff that's in the boxes is the stuff that's still DS. And like when it's in a box, it's like out of sight, out of mind. Like sometimes I forget I even have the pair, and
man,
so like now I'm like going through and organizing things. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I bought these, and then like get them. I was like, okay, I got to wear these this week, like. So it's like copping them all over again. It's like I bought them and then some other stuff came in or I got distracted by something else and then they're just sitting in the box and then like go back to it. It's like, oh yeah, those are there. I'm glad. I'm glad I still have these. I can wear these now.
all the time. I'm trying to get rid of all these boxes. So my goal is to like your shelf back there. I want to do the same thing on my wall and just get rid of the boxes so I can visibly see everything. And I
Yeah.
have two closets over here. Again, out of sight, out of mind. I literally was cleaning up. I found a pair of Reebok Questions with the tag still on them. I'm like,
Oh
where
my
did these come
gosh.
from? Like, like I don't remember even getting these. I'm like, did I even do a review on them? Never even did a review on them. I was like, wow. All right, well, I was like, I wear like I'm pretty good about wearing stuff, but then again, some things just fall through the cracks. If the boxes start piling up, I get a little bit, disrupted in my thought process. I try to list them out. I try to make a list of like, okay, do this, do that, and sometimes I just, in a craziness of everyday life, they get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though, man. I just like having this, being able to see different things. But whenever we talk about the differences in shoes and how like our love came from performance basketball. Now we're kind of shifting to this like almost comfortable, our dad shoe
Hmm.
phase. What are you seeing at school? Because you're around the people
Yeah.
who the brands are trying to touch right now. Is it you still seeing Jordans or is it shifting? Because my kid's school I went and all I saw was Crocs and slides. I'm like, well, where are the sneakers? What are y'all doing?
Right. Yeah, I mean you can see the kids wearing Crocs and slides with their pajama pants and you're just like, what are you doing? But like it's pretty diverse now. And this is my 12th year teaching in middle school,
Oh,
so you
cool.
see like all the waves of it, right? Like
Hmm.
I remember when like Yeezy 350s were the thing, right? And then like everyone was trying to get Yeezy 350s, and then some kids would show up at school in like really bad fake Yeezy 350s. You don't want to say anything to them because you don't want to crush their confidence, but you're just like, ooh, bro. And so like that phase, and then that transition into like Jordan 1s were really big for a few years, and then Jordan 4s started going around. And then I saw a lot of 550s a few years ago, New Balance 550s.
Yep.
Um, and then last year it was Sambas. Sambas were like the thing. Everybody had a pair of Sambas. And this year you still kind of see the Samba phase a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but you're also seeing a lot of like just GR dunks, like just the, solid colorway dunks everywhere. But it's really this year I haven't really been able to put like my finger on like the trendy sneaker. In years past I've been able to, but this year there's just like you don't see it as much. Like you see some Sambas, you see some Jordan 1s, you see some Jordan 4s, you see
Yeah.
some kid wearing some SBs. Like it's pretty diverse right now. But what's been cool is like I wear a lot of like when I wear like the Asics or the Sauconys or the New Balances, like the running style shoes to work. There's kids that are like, oh, what are those? Like not in a bad way. What are those? Like they're like, oh, what are those? Those look pretty good.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting.
And so yeah, and so it's like, oh, you guys are interested in these? Let's talk a little bit. So being able to like tell them about different like New Balance models or Saucony models, some different collaborators that these companies have been working with. So, and kids are like, oh, that's pretty dope. And then like maybe I'll like show them on like StockX or something like, hey, yeah, see these ones are pretty affordable. So if your mom and dad want to get you a new pair of shoes, like maybe look at something like this. They're comfortable. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's fun to see like because we see it in the sneaker community as a whole, like the diversity that's there right now with these brands. And then I feel like where sneaker culture's at, it kind of like gradually trickles down to like my
Yeah.
students. And so it's trickled down all the way to my students to where they're opening up a little bit to some of these other different types of sneakers.
Yeah, no, that's and you know what is crazy? Like you said that I was like you said all those different trends. Like, yep, I remember that. Oh, yeah, remember when that took over the world for, and
Mm-hmm.
but I thought about the parents, like buying school shoes, probably multiple kids. The best thing that could have happened for trend, for their pockets was probably Sambas, and then Dunks going out of like the hype train because now they're super affordable, super available, and mostly on sale. So it's like,
Yeah,
thank you. That's such an easy shoe for them to get. So as a parent, they're like, yes, let's keep doing this.
exactly. No, it was cool. The other day I noticed one of my seventh graders this year, he comes in and he's got a pair of AE1s on the
Oh, okay.
not the Velocity blue, but the other blue colorway that has like the black uh sock upper. It's almost I think
Oh,
it was like the
that
second one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Anyway, I saw him wearing those. I was like, yo, like AE1s, like that's dope, man. Like and he's like, yeah, just really like the way they look. Like they're pretty cool. It's like, yeah, there you go, kid.
Shake my hand, kid. Like I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I love that. I mean, I feel like some of the, like I feel like originality is coming back in like the younger generation. They're trying
Yeah.
to figure out their place and like they don't want to. They're like, oh, this like I said, this Jordan one, everyone has it. They're trying to find their footing. So I think it's cool. I think hopefully we'll start seeing like more as they get older and start going to these like shows and becoming, you know, given the ability to use social media. I think it'd be cool to see some like new things instead of just run in the mill. Because even
The
now it's like
same. Yeah.
I love the ASIC stuff, but sometimes I'm like, if I see one more gel Cayano, I'm gonna lose my
Oh
mind.
man. Yeah. Yeah. Those are hot right now. Those and 1130s. Like I've seen. Not my students. My students aren't quite there yet. I'm sure they'll get there, but like I see it everywhere. Across social media, all the videos people are posting. Like, yeah, those are taking over, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, there, mind you, I would easily buy a pair. Just one of those like, I probably don't need to throw that one up. Or, my picture reels or my things like those. Like, there's enough of them out there. I just wear this one for me. I mean, only ones that really, well, not say only ones that got me excited were the Kith and Marvel collection, the Villains pack.
Yeah,
But
those they he did those. Ronnie did those so well. My gosh, like I was hoping like I'm not one of those crazy spenders on Kith to get like their
same.
tiered thing to get early access. So I was like, okay, we'll just see if I can hit in the raffle. Entered for all of them, took an L, and then you know my late night eBaying got the best of me, and I put a bid on the Spider-Man Venom pack,
Oh,
and
that's the one, man.
yeah,
Did you
so
get
it
it?
was with I did, but it was without the comic book. I was like, do I want to see the comic book? Yes, I do, but it's like, is it worth the extra like $300-400? I was like, probably not. So let's just buy the shoes with the box, and so yeah, so those are hopefully coming here in the next few weeks.
Did you get the act like the I guess the drawer box with the two, or is it like separated?
Yeah, it's the drawer box with the two.
Oh,
It's just the seller like they still have the comic books. So yeah, and I'm
fair
like
enough.
I'm
Fair
cool.
enough.
I'm cool with that. I want the shoes like because those Venom ones were probably my favorite one from the pack. Those and the Silver Surfers, but Yeah, it's the colors on those Venom ones. Like it just looks mean. Like you got
It
the all
does.
black with the the turquoise and teal colors going through. I was like, oh, those look so good.
If I ever get a chance to, I'm gonna pull a trigger on one of those because that was just super well done. Even the shirts, man. I wanted one of the shirts. They sold out last year
Yeah,
too. I'm like, I quit. I can't take it.
yeah,
I can't take this failure. It was like it was just really, again, really cool pack. I love seeing the cool things. I'm a big comic nerd as well, so they're just trying to doubly take my money at that point. So I'm
right.
like, dang it. But it's again just that being able to take some fun things and have like a genuine like fun with the collaboration like that. I love that kind of stuff. Don't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, and especially doing like the comic book thing with it, like that. What person doesn't love like those stories? I mean, thanks to like cinematic universe and all that stuff, like that's definitely helped. But like, I still remember as a kid, like watching like the old like X-Men cartoons and like the old Spider-Man cartoons and all that stuff, and like that was part of my childhood. So like you see that, and it's just like it hits you in those nostalgic feels, and you're just like, oh man, you got me.
Oh, it's whenever across the across the Spider Verse came out, I brought me and my son went to go see it,
Yeah.
and I am still a child at heart, so
Yep.
I'm dressed like head to toe in like Spider Man stuff, and like they bought me for Father's Day with that year when it came out the Across the Spider Verse Jordan ones. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, wearing the whole thing. I had like literally
Easy.
I'm like, are you 12? Maybe, but like,
Yes. Yes, I am. Okay.
oh, it was like you're not gonna stop me from doing this world. And at no zero shame. I'll do it again to this day. Like it, I love that. I mean, when Deadpool came, I wore like Deadpool shirt and stuff to go see it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just fun. I think people forget the fun part of what we do here. Just like they take it too seriously. Like, yeah, if you're in it for money, cool, but don't forget to have fun with it because
Yeah, it's
it's a
all
cool
fun,
thing.
man. And then like those experiences, like it's even Deadpool and Wolverine. Like I think I've seen that movie 3 times. Like loved it all the time. That my wife and I saw it the first time, and then like I saw it. Did I see it with her twice? I don't remember if I saw it with her twice, but like I was like that just hits me in like those childhood moments back when like X-Men
Yes,
was in their prime. Like that was like middle school, high school for me when those original X-Men movies came out, and I
yes, dude.
loved it. I loved it. So like seeing Hugh Jackman back again, I was just like, oh, this completes it. Like I feel my life is complete. I got to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine one more time.
Oh well, apparently, I'm going to whole side tangent on this, but apparently that word on the street is that they're not this new wave of X movies they're going to come out with. They're not casting Wolverine because apparently Hugh Jackman's like, I love this. I kind of want to come back, and so for the foreseeable future, until he's in a wheelchair, I guess he's going to be until he's 90. He's gonna
Like the reference of the movie, they're
it's
gonna
until
milk
he's
it.
90. So I'm like, all right. And with all this stuff coming out, I mean, I am probably one of my favorite characters is Venom. Like,
Yeah,
and I've not been so happy with the Venom movies, but what they're doing with this Last Dance apparently is so. Again, rumor on the street is that it's supposed to tie in directly to the MCU now. That's why it's the last Venom.
ooh, okay.
And again, this is all rumor and speculation, but they brought in this big bad that may be overarching into the next Spider-Man movie, who's that symbiote god, who
Okay.
about 2 years ago caused all sorts of mayhem in the comics. And I'm like, guys, look, I'm gonna be just in the movie theater for the next 5 years straight, just waiting for these to come out at this point.
Yep.
Like, don't do this
Dressed
to me.
up.
Full garb. Like, what do you want from me? Like,
Yep.
I just changed shirts to match
Exactly.
the movie we're going to at this
Exactly.
point.
No, I remember when they were saying like when it was announced that Robert Downey Jr. would be Doctor Doom, and people were like, "Oh no, he can't do that. He can't do that." And it's like they'll make it work, and
They'll
we
make
will
it
love it.
work. Exactly what I said. I was like, don't worry about it. I'm sure they have a plan, and the Russo brothers coming
Yeah,
back. It's gonna be all right.
it'll work.
Dude, I can sit here and literally talk comics all day. Now,
Facts.
before we finish, I know I'll let you go. I know you got some stuff you got going on, but I want to ask you: is this ever something you've done or ever crossed your mind? Because I think it would be fantastic pieces. Have you ever sold prints of your shots?
I have. I've tried to sell some through like my website, and it's done like here and there, okay.
Yeah.
Something that I've wanted to do, and a lot of people have mentioned it for me, is doing like a photo like copybook kind of thing.
Ooh.
Like get like all my favorite photos, put them in a little, you know, like coffee book, nothing like super thick, like, you know, like some of those like sneaker freaker books, but just like,
Yeah.
you know, something that has like some of my favorite photos in it. So I'm looking at different like publishing avenues, to try to figure out how to get that, you know, out there at a reasonable cost to the consumer. Because some of the ones like I've seen that are like the one-off ones, it's like
Yeah.
if I wanted one, it'd be like $80 for me to do one. It's like, wow, if I did $80 times like however many people wanted them, man, I'd have to charge a lot of money to like get my money back from like shipping all this stuff. It's like I don't want
Yeah.
to do that. So I want to try and find someone that can do like a sizable amount, for a reasonable price, and just try to do it right, because I would love to see that just for my own personal satisfaction, just to
Oh
see
yeah.
like the pictures I've taken in physical form in a book. And so, and I know at least a few other people would really like it because they're the ones who've mentioned it. And so, yeah, that's in the works. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. Hopefully, early next year we'll cook something up with that.
Well, just put me down for pre-order. I will gladly buy that.
Absolutely.
Would gladly purchase that to support, man, because that's something cool. It's always been like I've always again I love the creativity, like the media, whether it be videos. I try to like dabble in everything. I've become like I'm good at a lot of things, but not great at one. So I want to.
Jack of all trades.
There you
Yeah.
go, jack of all trades, master of none. That was the same, but I want to get. I started with photography. Ended up going into video. I'm like, I just kind of, I don't want to say I abandoned photography. I just got so caught up in like the love for
Yeah.
editing and creating these like I'm a sucker for visuals. So
Uh
find
huh.
the cleanest way to build something out. And I've just left photography. So I want to go back, and that's kind of one of my pipe dreams down the line is to create like a little magazine or something, and just that's my, I don't want to say my swan song, but here's my contribution to the world of photography,
Right.
good,
No, that'd
bad,
be
or
dope,
indifferent.
man.
So, I mean, that's why again I love your stuff, man. It reminds me just like I love beautiful visuals, and whether it be again a landscape or a sneaker, they can be intermingled with me, and I think you do such a fantastic job, Andy. Like I have no words. It's just amazing. Man.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's been really fun, and you know, uh, I feel like everyone's different, and everyone's able to express themselves differently through whatever creative medium they choose. And you know, there's a lot of other people that do beautiful work, in sneaker photography, and it's just fun to see like how all of us have kind of like, you know, you can recognize who's taken what photos just by looking at the
Yes.
photos, and it's really cool, to see like the artistic and creative side of sneakers, because sneakers in and of themselves absolutely beautiful. I
Hmm.
consider them, like many people do, wearable art. And
Hmm.
then seeing what other people are able to do to take that wearable art and elevate it to a new level with like either photography or video, or anything that they do, it's cool. And it's all beautiful, and for the love of sneaker culture and for the sneaker game, and
Yeah,
it's fun, man.
definitely, man. Well, anything you got coming up? You want to let the people know about? Anything special?
Let's see. What I don't know. I don't really have anything coming up, new or noteworthy yet. So I'm glad that I can finally talk about the D Fox ones, like the Aaron Fox ones. So,
It's like a weight off
that
your
was.
chest now. You're like, finally, I
I
can show
know.
you.
I know. That was a cool project to work on. And you know, if anyone from Under Armour's listening or Curry Brand's listening, like, thank you so much for trusting me with that one and being able to work with me on that. That was super dope.
So legit, man. No, that's awesome. Well, I know you guys listening. If you haven't heard of Andy, you haven't heard of 80 Sneaks, you're living under a rock. So you can find him. It's 80 Sneaks everywhere, right? All
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah.
Okay.
Not
You
really
can.
active on. I tried TikTok for a while, but man, that place is so toxic. Like I had to get out of TikTok.
It was like me and Twitter. I'm
So
like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this Twitter thing.
yeah, yeah. Twitter's, and see, I just started like posting more on Twitter, and it's like I don't scroll on Twitter. I can't, because like it's just, oh, it's so bad. So yeah, mainly like Instagram threads, and Twitter. So that's where you can find me at all those places.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Andy, man, I appreciate you coming on by. I know we're gonna talk again in the short future, so.
For
Uh,
sure.
and guys, of course, go follow Andy at 80 Sneaks and all the places he just listed out. But also make sure that you're following Sneaker History as well. Make sure you leave comments for us. Make sure you leave comments for Andy to how much you loved this episode. And until next time, guys, see ya.